Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. Well, folks, I have the XRP chart open, and my oh my, what a couple of exciting days it has been with price just moving up like this. However, if you've been part of this channel, you know that I've been talking about this move up, and I've been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for it if you've been part of this channel. I've talked about it here on my videos. I also talk about it over here on Twitter. You can find me at Chart Historian. I post my videos here, but I also post things that don't always make it into my videos. So if you are on Twitter or on X and you're not following me, I recommend giving me a follow, and that way you'll be kept up to date with additional content that doesn't always make it into my YouTube videos. But anyways, back to XRP. So XRP has been moving up, and this is something we've been waiting for. It has been following this structure. Now, this structure is from XRP's recent history. I've talked about it in my previous video. You can find that video over here. Now, where is this fractal from? Well, this structure is from over here. This is actually the first fractal of the sideways range-bound time. Many times, a chart will tend to copy its recent history quite often. So you'll see several or multiple renditions of the same structure or very similar structures being repeated. Let me show you that macro structure just so you can see where this is being pulled from. So it's actually partially from Fractal 1 and partially the bottoming out structure. This structure I don't talk about much these days, but it is the final bottoming out structure of the decline. This is Fractal F. It goes from A to F. Sometimes A is not there. If you have not been with my channel for a while, you may have never heard of this fractal. But if you go back to some of my early stuff, I talk a lot about it. So in following this structure, which you see has been a fairly close match over here, it's actually accomplishing this structure over here. And what is this? Well, this is the fractal that we are actually copying. So let's back up a little. For those of you who are new to this channel, XRP has a repetitive structure. Now, those of you who've been with me for a while know this structure probably very well. So XRP has its bull runs. We see one here, we see one here, we see one here. If you go further back in time, you'll see more bull runs. XRP also has its declines. We see one here, we see one here, we see one here. If we go further back in time, we'll see more declines. After its declines, XRP has a sideways range-bound time. We see that here, we see that here. We see that over here. I divide this range-bound time into three separate fractals, fractal 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, let me delete this right here. We are working through them once more. So fractal 1 has a move up, which is part A, and move down, and then part B, where it goes flat here. We see the same thing here. Fractal 1 has the move up and move down, part A, and then part B where it goes flat. Fractal 2 has the three waves, wave A, wave B, and wave C. We see that over here with wave A, wave B, and wave C. We are now working on fractal 3. This fractal has repeated more than just this time. It's repeated over here. It's repeated over here. If you go all the way back to the very beginning of the XRP chart, it has played out there as well. Now, every time a fractal repeats, it's always going to be a little different, and that is because the timing, height, and depth, they're always unique. Those things do not copy over. They are original, so it can lend to an original iteration of the same idea, the same structure that gets repeated. So if we zoom in here, we see that this third fractal actually looks quite different from the one we were just looking at. But here's the main parts. Price moves up to a point, which is part A. It then crashes, which is part B. And then after that crash, it moves up again, does a small correction, and then it's off into the bull run. So that is the fundamental characteristics of Fractal 3. We see that same idea here, even though it went flat or moved up in steps this time around, and then finally it makes it up to its peak, which is part A. It then crashes, which is part B, and then it moves up and does this correction before moving on into the bull run. So right now, with this current move up, we are working on this structure right here, this fractal. Now, this is really something that is kind of more akin to the recent history, if you will, of XRP, being this is the most recent third fractal. So far, XRP has followed this whole sideways range-bound time quite well. As you can see, the way they matched, I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but you can see, look at fractal 1 with the two parts, part A and B. Fractal 2, while this is more on a downward trajectory, this one was on an upward trajectory. They are still fairly decent matches, with this move down here going lower than the beginning of the move up. The same thing happened here. And when it did happen, when this move up began, I was warning about this, that this would take place. I threw it out in some of my videos. The advantage of this type of technical analysis is that you're able to project far into the future. Now, the disadvantage or the weak points of this type of TA is that it can't really predict timing, height, and depth very well, but it can do what standard TA struggles big time in doing, and that is projecting into the future, and more so than that, giving you a rough idea of what that movement may look like. So let's move back to where we are. So today we are over here. Let's zoom in. And as you can see, price has been moving up. Now, is this the peak? That is the million-dollar question. You know, I think there's a very good chance it is. This is on an hour candle. The way I look at it is it's moved up quite aggressively. You know, it could go higher here, but moving up here again, let me put it this way. It can do it. It could move up once more, but just the way things are playing out, I'm skeptical. I could be wrong. I could do it. Part of me thinks that this might be this peak right here. We may see a potential peak up here again. I don't know, a higher high. We'll have to see. These things don't play out exactly, but it is a rough idea. And we see how it has been a rough idea so far. Look how it's followed it. So here's what I would say. As close as this has followed it, expect it potentially keep doing that. As loosely as it has followed this, expect it to continue doing that. So while it is similar, there are differences, and we should expect those differences to continue to play out over here. I question whether it's going to drop like this in the structure over here. It doesn't drop so drastically. This could just be an exaggerated version of what it's doing. I also could have it wrong. Maybe it's only going to drop like that. So it does drop. I don't know if it'll drop this extreme. We'll have to see. Anyways, what I am glad to see is that XRP is finally on the move. It's following the fractal that it should be following. For a while over here, we kind of stagnated, just waiting for this to take place. And you know, this is typical too. Usually when it gets to this point right before the move up, it gets really hard to kind of nail things down, when it's going to move up and where we're at exactly. When we were over here, I faced the same problems. When we were over here, if I recall, I also faced the same troubles. I knew it was the end of this structure. I knew a move up was coming. I just didn't know when it was going to take place. So anyways, if you found this video interesting, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But if you did enjoy this type of technical analysis, you should think about hitting that subscribe button. This type of TA is original. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Like I said, it has the ability to project into the future. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, you should seriously think about it. I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.